Hey guys, welcome back to Psychopinion, and we are here to discuss some particular movies this evening. First one, and episode one here, is The Cursed. And I'll go ahead and let Jen start because she usually gives us a good introduction into, when it was made, who made it, so on and so forth.
Oh, well, I'm not sure who made it, but yeah, I have a summary for that one.
It was
You want me
directed by Sean Ellis.
And
Oh.
written and directed
By
Oh.
Sean Ellis.
Thanks, guys.
We got you back.
Yeah.
So The Cursed, it was done in 2021. It is also known as 8 for Silver.
What?
What?
Yeah, 8 for Silver.
For Silver.
That is
is the
second
other
name?
Mhm.
A lot of movies have second names. Don't you love it?
Yeah, well, now
Because
that's
it's
fucking
confusing.
Makes it confusing for us.
Yeah.
I think it was actually the original name that it came out as in.
Why wouldn't they have kept that? Because The Cursed is like an overused name already.
I agree. I like 8 for Silver better too.
Yeah.
Definitely more unique.
Mm-hmm.
Stands out.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the case that maybe there was like another movie called that, or I don't know. That's like
There's
weird.
like 8
But anyway,
movies called The Curse.
yeah, I know.
Or Cursed, sorry.
They shouldn't have kept that one.
Like, you know what? That movie, there's another obscure movie called the same name as that, so let's call it The Cursed, like the other 5 fucking Cursed movies.
Yeah, isn't there like a movie called, I think it's called Cursed, not The Cursed, but Cursed. And I think that's the one with Christina Ricci in it, right?
It
You
is.
know what I'm
Sounds
talking about?
familiar.
It's also
Yeah,
a
there's
werewolf thing, I think.
there's The Curse, The Cursed, Cursed, and I'm sure probably like Jake said, 5 others.
Yeah.
I mean, when I typed it in to look it up, there's definitely like a bunch of shit that popped up. I think there's a show now called The Cursed or something as well. Something like that.
Well,
Wouldn't
This
surprise
shit
me.
is the 2021 fucking The Cursed by
yes,
Sean Ellis,
that's
starring
right.
Boyd Holbrook and Kelly Riley. Now, Sir
Okay.
Beach.
So
Okay,
here's
alright.
this time for the summary. So this is like kind of a gothic horror, got a little bit of like historical elements in it too. But it is set in the late 1800s in rural France. That's a hard word to say, rural. Anyway, starts off with a
Rural.
man, rural.
Rural.
Starts off with a man who has been injured in a war, and the doctor pulls out bullets, but is surprised to find a silver bullet in the man as well. Then the story goes 35 years into the past, where a land baron leads a slaughter of a Romani. I'm going to use the word Romani because that's what I think Wikipedia said, instead of the word that they use in the movie that I feel like I probably shouldn't use. Does anybody know what that word is? You don't have to say it.
You can say it right.
Yeah.
Word.
It's
wanna-
it's gypsy. It's somewhat derogatory depending on who you're talking
That's
to.
not
Gypsy is where you
derogatory.
Gypsy's what we're not saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's sort of
gypsy.
Holy
Ooh.
fuck, I can't say gypsy anymore?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
All right, well, what's the fucking point of living? Jesus.
Anyway, I'm just gonna say Romani, just to be whatever.
So Romani, is that like
Considerate or
Romanian?
something. Yeah.
The Romanian gypsies.
Mhm. The
Yeah.
nomadic Romani.
It
Anyway,
sounds cool.
yeah. So the land baron leads a slaughter of a Romani clan, who say the land they are
I feel
living
like
on.
wait, hold on. I feel like the clan is worse to say than gypsy. I'm just saying. I'm gonna stop you there and say I think the clan is worse.
Hey
That's
Jen,
definitely KKK, but
Gypsy
Yeah.
Clan. There you go.
All right.
I said it for you.
Continue. I just had to point that out.
You can read up to that point and then nod, which I won't be able to know that you're nodding, and then I'll go ahead and say Gypsy Clan. How's that sound?
okay.
Anyway, at some point in time, we're going to talk about this movie, so go ahead.
I'm sorry. You guys
Yeah, Rob,
wanted me
shut
to do
up.
the summary.
It's our fault. And
I
it's
was
kind of your
waiting
fault
to
for.
do it.
Rob won't shut up.
And then I lose my place again. So the land that they're living on is rightfully theirs. Legally, it is theirs, but they are killed anyway because of basically greed. During the slaughter, the clan leader is buried alive with a set of some pretty freaking sweet wolf teeth. Yeah, the wolf fangs are like one of my favorite parts of that movie. Probably yours too, Steve, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know. We'll get into detail in a minute. Keep going.
Okay. So they're made of silver, and the clan has put a curse on them. The clan, the Romani. Another member of the clan is dismembered and made into a scarecrow. Pretty cool. Soon the children in the town are plagued by nightmares of the scarecrow and the teeth. The dreams draw them into finding its location, and one boy digs up the silver fangs and bites the land baron's son, Edward, who has now become very ill. So basically he turns into the creature. There is also this guy that comes into town to help them because he has seen this sort of thing happen before, and he also lost his wife and daughter to the beast. So then a little later, a young girl gets bitten, turns into the creature, and they have to kill it. A very cool scene. Really like that scene. It kind of reminded me a little bit of The Thing, or even Color Out of Space a little bit. Like it was like kind of like a mutating kind of cool scene. I like the special effects were really cool too. Should I go into the ending, or we just skip that and just keep talking about other things?
I mean, we can get there.
Yeah.
I thought that the movie opening up with the ending was kind of cool. I know some movies do that, where they give you kind of the end scene and then cut back to the beginning and then come back to it again to the point where you've almost forgotten the beginning scene. And then you're like, oh yeah, shit, this is where this started, or in essence ends. But I do like the fact that like the opening scene from was it World War One? I think was the war, and he going on the table and having those bullets pulled and everything was very cool. I think it gave a little bit more depth to the movie than if they would have started it in the period itself, at 35 years prior. I thought that going to the end and coming back was kind of cool because it gave you that little Easter egg right up front with that silver bullet getting pulled out. And the way that they did it, it was almost something, like I said, that you forget about during the course of the movie. You don't really think about it that way. And although they show it right out of the gate, it is almost that aha moment at the end where you're like, oh shoot, yeah, that's kind of what happened to get to that point. But
the entire
cool.
movie I was watching, and I was like, what was the point of that beginning scene? Like, I over an hour in, and I'm still wondering what was the point of that. And eventually, it was explained, but it was very confusing for me. I like how they did it. It was just odd that it seemed very different because it's very far in the future. It is basically the ending. It was very out of place. I felt.
You thought it was out of place?
I didn't think it
for the rest of the movie until you got to the end of the movie, and then it all made sense. So it was very weird because it was a different time frame and everything.
Yeah.
So it stood out very much.
I felt like it was fucking unnecessary. Like I felt like that whole beginning and end scene was fucking unnecessary. The whole thing was literally just to be like, oh, that's the kid and he still has the bullet in him. Like they tried to make it more like an impressive, like, I don't know, twist or something than it was. Like, I don't know. I felt like it was kind of just unnecessary. Like it was this whole thing just to show us that he still had the fucking bullet in him. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad movie. I liked the movie, but I'm just saying that part in particular, like I got to the end and I was like, yeah, okay. So like, dude still had the bullet in him. Like, so fucking what? Like, why did you? I feel like it should have been a bigger moment, or they should have cut it out. I don't know. That was just my feeling on it. So I was just kind of like, oh, okay.
It didn't
if you were to fast
the rest of the movie,
I feel as though without it, if you fast forward to the end of the movie, when he's a child and they, Boyd Holbrook, if you will, I forget his name in the movie, but he takes the sister. Okay. takes the sister and the brother who actually was the werewolf briefly and everything, adopts them, if you will, or whatever. Do you end the movie like that? Because I feel as though that would have been a little bit kind of lazy at the end as well. Nor do I think you could go to that scene at the end where you're fast forwarding 35 years. I don't feel as though like people would be like, oh, okay, well, he lived 35 more years and died in war, I guess. So, I mean, the fact they put it in the beginning, I didn't think it was a bad idea, but.
Well, I liked that they put it in. It just felt weird because it had a time jump, and there wasn't any other time jumps in the whole movie. So, like, if it showed some of the what was it, the physician or the hunter, basically, if it showed some of his past when he first encountered a similar curse with his village, it would have made a little bit more sense. I kept thinking during the whole movie, it's like, what was that scene?
That might have been good. That might have been good, putting some backstory to John McBride, kind of like
well,
that.
they had the backstory, but showing it, it just felt
a little bit
scene
more.
From
They showed like splotches, but I wouldn't have minded getting a little bit more into that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it made sense after you had watched the whole movie. It's just, as I said, during the whole movie, I was just wondering why that was there. It didn't fit in until the end, and then there it is.
I just don't think it added much to it.
An odd change of pace. I don't know.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was an okay beginning.
Me too, Jen. I think we're right.
I see what the other guys are saying too, but I didn't think that it wasn't like on my mind. It wasn't like, oh, that bothers me that I don't know what that's about yet. I was just like, yeah, I'll probably just find out at the end. So I can be patient.
It makes it seem like the topic is more the silver bullet when that really wasn't the topic at all. Like it kind of almost makes it seem like this is super important, but it's kind of not. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Agree to disagree.
Well, another thing about the opening is it immediately showed multiple dismemberments of feet and other limbs, and gave another precedence for much more dismemberment in the movie, which I thought they did a pretty damn good job of. The effects were all in all just spectacular throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I do think they did. Yeah, the scarecrow was super cool to removing that guy's hands and feet and shoving straw in there and sticking him up on the stake like that. That was pretty cool. I mean, there was definitely some intriguing moments in the movie that were very unique and things that I haven't really seen before. I will say that it's one of those movies that if you're bored or it's late at night and you're tired to begin with, probably a movie you could fall asleep to because it's just super slow moving, kind of slow paced, albeit still easy enough to follow along with. It's not so engaging that you can't kind of be distracted by how slow it moves. At least that's what I got out of it.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I can see it being, it was kind of slow in the middle, I guess, for some parts. But the beginning was actually like, I was pretty interested because there was the whole scarecrow scene and all that, and the fangs were cool. Yeah.
So the creature, go ahead, Jake.
I was just going to say also, like, personally, I kind of, for whatever reason, dig that time period.
Absolutely. I'm a sucker for a period piece.
Like the others.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Steve, I know you can't see me, but I'm done talking if you'd like to go.
No, I can see you, unfortunately. What were you drinking, by the way? You dispatched that with great prejudice.
Wild turkey.
Wild turkey. That was good. Now I can't remember what I was going to say.
You were probably going to talk about the werewolf. You were going to talk about the
creature.
Werewolf, probably the creature.
Yeah. Oh yes, the creature. The fact that, I mean, do we know that it was a werewolf? I know silver bullets were involved, but it didn't.
You say
it
werewolf.
doesn't.
Or wolf.
Yeah.
They say wolf. maybe.
They called it a
said-
wolf,
Mhm.
Right.
but it's more of just a beast. And I guess
Yeah.
they called it a wolf because that one girl who was attacked called it a dragon.
Oh yeah.
And then everyone else was calling it a wolf because it left attack marks that were similar because
Mm.
they hadn't seen it yet. They didn't know what it was. So
Mhm.
it's definitely not a werewolf, but I see why they called it a wolf. It makes sense.
They treated it as one in the way that you kill it with a silver bullet, I suppose. But if it was supposed to be like a new stylistic vision of some sort of werewolf type of creature, it was definitely interesting on how it came to be. And
Mhm.
first of all, being hairless,
Yeah.
right out of the gate is kind of freaky, and the fact that it looked more humanoid than wolf uh, was wild too. But or the fact that a human being was virtually inside of it as well was pretty crazy. There was a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
neat
pretty
things
gross.
to this movie.
It was pretty gross when the woman was coming out of the beast.
Yeah, I love that
That
part.
scene was
That's like my
spectacular.
Yeah,
favorite.
because it was fucking gooey, Jen. It was fucking
It
gooey.
was, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so okay, so just so I'm clear on this, the one boy bit the other boy, turning him into the creature.
Yes.
That was the creature. But whenever the
Yeah.
creature attacks another person, it makes them into a creature as well.
Mhm.
So, okay, I just wanted to make sure that I clarify that because there was no other creature. The boy was the first creature getting bit by the teeth.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was shocked to see how quickly when I don't know if she would be considered like a handmaid or something when she was out putting laundry up on the drying lines, clotheslines, and she got bit out there, and was badass enough to go serve dinner that night too. It was pretty wild, but she got hacked up and eaten up pretty good shape. Once she went to bed, I mean, it wasn't but 30 minutes to an hour before she changed. It felt like so. It's almost like it envelops you, and um, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's all make believe, so it's hard to really know what the concept behind it all was. But I mean, I digged it. I thought it was pretty friggin' cool. I liked it.
Yeah. I kind of wish they had put just like a little bit more of like the lore. Am I saying that right? Lore. Lore.
Yeah.
More of like the lore of it. I don't know. I kind of felt like that was missing a little bit. They could have done that maybe. Like go more into like that whole Romani clan thing. I mean, they did a little. I felt like I wanted a little bit more because that's like my favorite stuff.
So you feel like
Yeah.
we got gypped by it? Is that what you're saying, Jen?
Oh, had to use that word, didn't you?
I feel
Yeah, there it is.
I do feel like they explained it fairly well throughout the movie. Like you didn't really know what was happening, and eventually, while watching it, you do understand fully what's going on with
Yeah.
the cursed, with the creature, or creatures. But no, I would have enjoyed a little bit more lore, but I think they did a good job explaining it throughout the movie.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
You know what else was a really good gypsy movie? It was Thinner. I don't know if you guys ever saw that or not.
Yeah,
Just
I
think
did.
about
I read
that.
the book too.
He's like, Thinner. And the guy like basically
Yeah,
disappears.
I heard some heavyweight boxer just got beaten too. I don't know what his name is. Tyson Fury. I think he goes by the Gypsy King. Anyway, oh yes, the cool thing about that movie as well is there's a scene where they have several fires lit on the front lawn, which goes on for a ways. I mean, it looks like it's a couple hundred yards out, and it's always foggy in these movies, of course, but that's really kind of wild if you were to transport yourself to that time frame. There's been other movies when I've watched too, we're so used to street lamps and flashlights and everything else. Everything's illuminated. How much of a different feel everything would have when you go out at night and it's virtually pitch black out there unless you have a lantern or a fire. But the fact that they had to light several fires out on the lawn to keep an eye on what was going on was pretty cool. I like that scene.
Well, I also think with the like the pit fire, well, not pit fires, but the brazier fires, He
Mhm.
actually was counting it out when he was aiming his rifle, and he was like 100, 200, and it was
Yep.
spacing, so he knew the distance. So if he saw
Mhm.
it, he could get a good shot and wait, make sure it was an accurate shot. So
Right.
I guess it
it
was
was,
like a bit historically accurate, would you say? 'Cause it sort of
I
feels like
would.
yeah.
it was proper to the time period. It was a good timepiece.
Yeah.
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 You
That was
talk about rifles or shotguns in that time frame too. I mean, how crappy is that? Like one shot and you got to take 5 minutes to get reloaded to,
It's all
I mean,
flintlock muskets.
yeah, I mean, we've come a long way, both in
That's why
war and in recreation.
That's why I think your best bet is to make a deadfall and have it fall into the deadfall so you have time to load. That's pretty
There
clever.
you go.
I like that. That was a good kill. So who the fuck was that? Now that I'm sitting here, like maybe who the fuck did he kill in the deadfall?
That
I-
was the girl.
No, that was the boy that, I think that was the boy that he got.
It was
Wasn't
the
it the
girl
boy?
because they took it out of the pit and they
Mhm.
brought it back and opened it up, and then we had the scene where the girl was
That's
coming
right.
back.
Okay, so
That's right.
okay, yeah. I felt disjointed now that I'm looking back on it.
Yeah.
Good call, Rob. Good call. So,
Yeah.
so overall, I would say that this is definitely a I would watch it at least once. I
I'd
don't know
probably
if it's
watch
like
it again. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
I would watch it again.
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
like a must see, but it's definitely a can see.
Yeah,
Aw.
I mean, there was nobody spectacular in the way of actors or actresses that would draw you to watch this movie otherwise, unless you just knew kind of what it was about and looking for it to begin with. But I think everybody, for the most part, played their role well and did a good job acting it out. That Boyd Holbrook guy I've seen in a lot of stuff here recently. He seems to be a kind of an up and coming. I mean, he's been around for a little bit, but he's broadened his stance a little bit on what type of roles he takes on. He's been in a lot of stuff, but I don't know if you guys saw him. He was in the Wolverine movie, Logan, that movie, and he was actually in a TV show that I used to like a lot. We talked about the character a few shows back, and I forget the name, but it got Justified. Remember the original Justified series on Fox? They brought it back briefly, like 10, 15 years after it shut down, and he was the main antagonist in that movie. And all he wore was a pair of tighty whities the whole damn show, which was a bit weird, but did a good job in that.
That's like what's his name in Breaking Bad. That was always
Oh
insane.
yeah.
All right, well, you have it here. It's definitely better than I thought it was going to be, so I'll give you that. And sounds like everybody else gives it the thumbs up of approval. Jen, did you have anything else to add? I know you're usually notey. Notey?
Notey.
Noteful, if you will.
Noteful. I like that. Noteful.
Are you a notary?
Full of notes. My mom is.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's where she gets it from. Those are two totally different fucking things.
Yeah, it is two different things. But anyway, I don't really have a whole lot of notes other than what I've already said. I liked this movie a lot. And I meant to talk about a little bit like the biblical references. Because there's that whole that whole silver thing is like a biblical reference. Judas, exactly. Yeah. And they don't really go into it very much, but I thought it was kind of cool that they mention it.
Yeah, but I don't think they went into enough that it was relevant. It's almost like they were going to build more on that story and then didn't. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I totally forgot about it.
It was more towards the end, I think, when they did the reference or whatever.
Yeah, when the gypsy leader, whatever her name was, I forget. When she was talking in the beginning, she stated that silver, they had protected it and it had protected them up until that point. So it obviously had some sort of relevance, but I don't know, like the fact that they melted it down into the teeth and the jaws and everything, like
makes you wonder
I guess
where that silver came from originally.
Is this
where those
supposed to be
coins
Judas's fucking silver? Is this
Right.
supposed to be Judas's silver? Is this like
Yeah,
going on that long?
they mention it again at the end. That's what I was saying. Like, I wish they had just like a little bit more of that story about that, like more of those references, you know, a little bit more of that lore. Because they only have like what Steve was talking about a little bit at the beginning, and then they have like that very little bit thing at the end. And it's just like, I don't want to know more.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I felt like it was so subtle, honestly. I almost forgot about the biblical references until you brought it up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not something that if I was to describe the movie to somebody, I would bring up. It didn't really stick as much as other parts of the movie for me.
Yeah, I can see
Well,
that.
like,
well, what was the
coins of betrayal? I didn't even think the teeth were made from coins. They were talking about like, oh, they, you know, gave Judas 30 pieces of silver, and it's like, were there 30 silver teeth in the jaws that they made?
Depending on the size of the
and
coin,
then
I get a whole tooth out of one coin.
yeah, or like the kid who had the torn out page of the Bible that references the whole thing. He was the one that bit the first kid, made the first monster, and then he was the one that was murdered because of it. Like, it had a lot more things going on for, you know, the vengeance and betrayal. So I feel like they did a good job of that. I don't think they needed to expand on that. I mean,
I think they do. I
could
think
have
they
maybe explained what those coins were originally, but I like that they left it open and unanswered. Lets you just imagine.
Nah, fuck that. They should have said more. Like, it was too subtle. Like, it's like, so there's like the depth of the movie, and it's like they started to go in depth, like they started to go deep, and then they like didn't, like, I don't know, they bottomed out or something.
Well, it also gives you the opportunity to not have to explain in detail that these are Judas's 30 pieces of coin, silver or whatever. That you can kind of, like Rob said, draw your own conclusion to what it is. The movie, the other name of it was eight for silver or 8 of silver, or what was it called?
8 for silver.
8 for silver. So I wonder what that means. It appeared as though there was more than eight coins in the beginning, but maybe that was it. You know what? I bet that if we were to watch it again and really pay attention to like that massacre scene in the beginning where they all get killed, and I bet there's more to it there that was probably missed.
Did they make 8 silver bullets? Maybe.
That's possible.
I don't quite remember that, like how many they made. But,
well, they had 4 left over.
Oh.
So I don't know. Yeah, just
very possible.
It could be one where you go back and watch it a second time, you catch a lot of little stuff here and there that was subtle.
Yeah.
I might do that actually.
Well, let us know how it goes, because I don't think there's anything there. So good luck.
Oh.
I think you're on a wild goose chase.
Ever the pessimist, Jake.
I'm not trying. It's like I'm not trying to shit on the movie, but it's just like, I don't know. I think that it didn't complete what it was. I don't know where the fuck it was going with some of those things. It just didn't say.
Well, I can't wait to hear what you think of the other movie we're going to talk about.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty up for interpretation there.
So anyway, this has been Psychopinion discussing Cursed. Check out our other video. We're going to be posting at the same time as this one, which will be us talking about when evil lurks. When evil lurks, where evil lurks. When evil lurks.
Whenly. Easy for you to say.
Yeah, that's when evil lurks. That's what we're going to be. So check that out too. Anyway, see you soon.